Once upon a time, a Friday night meant one thing: the movies. Crowded theaters, sticky floors, that smell of butter in the air. Now, most of those theaters sit empty. AMC is billions in debt, Regal went bankrupt, and Hollywood's golden screens are fading fast. So what happened? How did America's favorite escape become one of its biggest casualties? This is the rise and fall of the movie theater, Hollywood's last stand. The golden age of movies. Back in the 1940s, going to the movies wasn't just entertainment, it was the event. Every week, over 80 million Americans packed theaters. That's more than half the country at the time. It was the only place you could see the stars: Bogart, Monroe, Chaplin. Movies were magic, and theaters were temples of that magic. Even in the 1980s, theaters still had the power. E.T. made over $700 million. Titanic over $1 billion. Back when $1 billion meant something. Studios ruled. Tickets were cheap, and movie-going was a shared ritual. But something started to change, and it wasn't just the ticket prices.
What happened was the DVD was a huge part of our business, of our revenue stream, and technology has just made that obsolete. And so the movies that we used to make, you could afford to not make all of your money when it played in the theater, because you knew you had the DVD coming behind the release, and 6 months later you'd get a whole nother chunk. It would be like reopening the movie almost. And when that went away, that changed the type of movies that we could make.
The digital shift. First came the VCR, then DVDs, and then the internet. Each new invention gave people more control over when and how they watched. By 2007, Netflix had mailed over 1 billion DVDs. Then they flipped the switch, streaming. And that changed everything. Why go out when you can stay in? At first, movie theaters didn't worry. They thought, nothing beats the big screen. But the truth? For most people, convenience beats everything.
I take my kids to the movies to see Avengers. It's $150. I'm like, I don't even want to see myself that much. Whereas I have a great sound system in my house with a great TV. I have my own popcorn maker. I got my own cabinet with my in it, you know what I'm saying? So I can sit here for $8 and watch this movie just like I'm in a movie theater, pause it, freshen and come right back to it. So why go to the movies?
The streaming wars. Between 2010 and 2020, streaming exploded. Netflix, Hulu, Disney, plus Amazon Prime. Theaters became the middlemen, and middlemen always lose. In 2019, Netflix released over 371 original titles. That's more than all the major studios combined. They weren't just a tech company, they became Hollywood itself. And when the pandemic hit, the final blow came. The pandemic effect. COVID shut down over 90% of theaters worldwide. Movies were delayed. Studios panicked. Warner Brothers did the unthinkable. They released all their 2021 films online and in theaters at the same time. The Matrix, Dune, Godzilla vs. Kong. For theaters, that was betrayal. Audiences learned something. They didn't need theaters anymore. And by the time the doors opened again, something was missing. The habit, the magic, the reason to go.
Theaters gradually reopening. A lot of restrictions, though. And the question is, will most customers return to see movies in that way? Rabina?
I do not think so. I think that now with streaming services that are in our home, and you could go and you can buy a massive television, you can get great speakers, that most people are now trying to set up some sort of home theater and get those movies in the comfort of their own living room. Movies for the longest time have been infamously expensive. If I take my two kids and my husband and I go to a movie, it's $100 after we buy the tickets and the popcorn and the pop. And so for a lot of families, that's just unaffordable. I'd rather just buy a movie for $29, the latest film, and watch it on my own television. And then you have the added, we talk about dirty cash. Cinemas are not exactly the cleanest places. So keeping cinemas clean and feeling healthy when you're in that cinema. I'm not going to be going into a theater or a cinema anytime soon to watch a movie. I'd much rather watch it from the comfort of my home. It's safer, it's cheaper, and I don't want to pay those big ticket prices so those A-list celebrities can get, $100 million of film. I think that a lot of people are just fed up with that kind of expense, so that celebrities in Hollywood can get those big paychecks.
The rise of the franchise. Today, Hollywood is no longer run by directors. It's run by brands. Disney owns Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar. Every blockbuster looks the same, sounds the same, and ends the same. In 2023, 7 out of the top 10 highest-grossing movies were sequels or reboots. Theaters survive on the same franchises year after year, but people are getting tired. Indie films, gone from theaters. Mid-budget dramas, straight to streaming. The only things keeping theaters alive are superheroes and nostalgia. The cost of a night out. In 1990, a movie ticket cost $4.23. Today, the average ticket is $11.75. And that's before the $10 popcorn. Families used to go weekly. Now, it's a luxury. Add gas, parking, snacks, and you're spending $70 to sit in the dark with strangers. When Netflix costs $15 a month, the math doesn't make sense. What's left of Hollywood? Even Hollywood itself is collapsing. Writers are on strike. Actors are on strike. AI is creeping in, threatening the few jobs that remain. Studios once had power because they owned the screens. Now the screens are everywhere, in our hands, on our walls, even on our fridges. The movie theater was the last shared experience America had. And now, it's fading, one screen at a time. The Last Stand, but not everything is gone. Movies like Oppenheimer and Top Gun. Maverick proved something. When the story matters, people will show up. Theaters might not die completely. They might just become rare, like vinyl records or bookstores. A niche experience for people who crave something real. Because deep down, we don't just watch movies, we chase moments. Laughter, fear, silence, awe. The kind you can't stream. And maybe that's Hollywood's last hope. The movie theater was never just a building. It was where we escaped the world and where we learned to dream. And now, that dream is fading to black.